Today I want to talk about this thing. If you haven't seen these before, they're SCX24. They're pretty fun. This is mine. My son has one, both my nieces have one, and my nephew has one. They're great with the kids. They love them. They're a lot of fun. They're cheap. They're only like 180 bucks, and they're really cheap to fix too, if you ever break them. But this one is mine. I've done a little mods to it. It's got 3D printed shock towers. I moved the battery to the front. Put on a little XT30 here just for easy, because these things wear out. And then I can connect it to my charger faster. And I cut the front frame rails here so I could get a little bit more travel out of it without the servo rubbing on the front bumper. I don't really care. It looks kind of cool. But I've always wanted to make it four-wheel steer. So I was looking on Amazon and I found an axle for pretty cheap that I just got today. It was really cheap. It's an all aluminum front axle, and it was only like 30 bucks. That's why I like these things. Like, you can't really go wrong. Came with little screws. Look at that. That's pretty cool. For 30 bucks. So I think just because this one's heavier, I'm gonna put it in the front so that we have more weight in the front. And then I'm gonna move the front axle to the rear. Because whenever you're climbing hills with these things, the front end always wants to come up and it flips backwards. So I'm gonna try that out. And I have some parts on the 3D printer right now. I have 4 rims being printed, and what else? A servo mount for the new axle being printed. We still have another, see if I can get it to focus, 2.5 hours. So once that's done, I'm gonna show it to you guys and put them on the truck. All right, I've gone ahead and taken off the wheels and the body so we can see everything better here. So let's start tearing apart the axles. Alright, I got the servo mounted on the front axle. I had to use the stock bracket. The one I 3D printed, I don't think is gonna work, so I'm gonna have to look online and see if I can find a different one. And I'll switch that out. But we may as well get the front axle mounted up for now. So I ended up finishing the rest of this off camera. Because like I said, it's hard to film because everything's so small in it. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I ended up putting a new servo mount in the front as well, because as soon as I went to go test it, the stock servo died. So I put in one of these bigger ones and some upper links. I love 3D printers. If you don't have one, you should look into it because they're very useful. This is the back end with the stock axle. And if you're new at this, if you don't know much about this, this is the stock steering servo output, runs to the front servo. This guy here is the rear servo. So you plug that into the auxiliary. And what that does, they're kind of secret on these. If you get your transmitter, that's channel 3. So I'll put a battery into this quick and I'll show you. So this is front. Obviously, everybody knows that. And channel 3 on here. Click it. It turns. Middle. Other way. It doesn't have the best resolution, and the only annoying thing is that you don't have trim to really get these back wheels centered while you're driving. So they're a little bit crooked. You could always try to. Sometimes you see these that have threaded ends and then a threaded rod in the middle, and you could adjust it that way, but I just don't have any right now. Maybe I'll do that in the future, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the way this went. This axle for this price is actually really good quality. Yeah, it turned out good. And unfortunately, it's really bad weather out. It's raining, snowing, whatever, cold. Or else I'd give you a quick demo video. But I don't know, maybe we'll just show it driving around on my table really quick, just so you guys can see how it works.